December 22nd.
A reading from the first book of Samuel. In those days, Hannah brought Samuel with her along with a 3-year-old bull, an ephah of flour and a skin of wine, and presented him at the temple of the Lord in Shiloh. After the boy's father had sacrificed the young bull, Hannah, his mother, approached Eli and said, "Pardon, my lord. As you live, my lord, I am the woman who stood near you here praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child, and the Lord granted my request. Now I in turn give him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he shall be dedicated to the Lord." She left Samuel there. The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, "My heart exalts in the Lord, my Savior." My heart exalts in the Lord. My horn is exalted in my God. I have swallowed up my enemies. I rejoice in my victory. My heart exalts in the Lord, my Savior. The bows of the mighty are broken, while the tottering gird on strength. The well-fed hire themselves out for bread, while the hungry batten on spoil. The barren wife bears 7 sons, while the mother of many languishes. My heart exalts in the Lord, my Savior. The Lord puts to death and gives life. He casts down to the netherworld. He raises up again. The Lord makes poor and makes rich. He humbles. He also exalts. My heart exalts in the Lord, my Savior. He raises the needy from the dust. From the dung heap he lifts up the poor, to seat them with nobles, and make a glorious throne their heritage. My heart exalts in the Lord, my Savior.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Mary said, "My soul proclaims the greatness of the Lord. My spirit rejoices in God my Savior, for he has looked upon his lowly servant. From this day all generations will call me blessed. The Almighty has done great things for me, and holy is his name. He has mercy on those who fear him in every generation. He has shown the strength of his arm, and has scattered the proud in their conceit. He has cast down the mighty from their thrones, and has lifted up the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good things, and the rich he has sent away empty. He has come to the help of his servant Israel, for he remembered his promise of mercy, the promise he made to our fathers, to Abraham and his children forever." Mary remained with Elizabeth about 3 months, and then returned to her home. The Gospel of the Lord.
The first reading is from 1 Samuel 1, 24 to 28. This is the story of how Hannah, who had been barren and who became pregnant and bore Samuel, brought him with an offering to the Lord. She was presenting him to Eli the priest so that he could serve the Lord all of his days. This had been the promise that Hannah made, and Hannah fulfilled this promise. Now, this reading prepares us for the Gospel. Luke 1, 46 to 56, the Magnificat. The reason that the first reading prepares us for that is that the Magnificat is almost a plagiarized hymn. It was taken from the mouth of Hannah, with a few extra verses thrown in. And the Magnificat is the song of the Anawim. The Anawim were the poor ones of Yahweh, and Mary represents those poor ones. She's the queen of the Anawim, the lowly one who the Lord has raised up. This is an overturning of the fortunes of people, that those who are mighty will be cast down, those who are lowly will be raised up. And this is one of the major themes of the Gospel of Luke, that God reaches out to the lowly because they are the ones who are most ready to listen to the message of God being proclaimed in the person of Jesus. The rich, they're self-satisfied, they're arrogant, they have become their own God, where the poor are needy. They realize they need God's presence. We hear that Mary remained with Elizabeth for about 3 months. Now that's a little bit odd because immediately after we hear about the birth of John, And obviously we would assume that Mary stayed for the birth of John, but that's not quite the way it's said in this account. It almost sounds as if Mary left before. Why does Luke mention the 3 months? Because right across the valley from Ein Karim, where Elizabeth and Zechariah live, there's a town called Abu Ghosh. And that's the town where when David was bringing the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem, a soldier touched the Ark and was struck dead because he touched a holy thing. He never should have done that. David was afraid, so he left the Ark there for 3 months. And then when the person who owned the space where the Ark was being kept was blessed, David allowed the Ark to enter into Jerusalem. The 3 months reminds us of that episode and reminds us that Mary is the new Ark of the Covenant. That like that Ark which held the Decalogue inside, which held the manna inside, Mary now holds the very presence of God inside of her womb. And may God bless us.